Hello everyone, this is City Scrapper. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. Today I'm so happy to be participating in a YouTube hop for Create with Alison. She just reached 250 subscribers, so congratulations to Alison. And to celebrate the occasion, a number of scrapbookers are scraplifting one of Alison's layouts and making a YouTube video. You could see the layout that I chose to scrap lift up on the upper left-hand corner of the screen. For her layout, Alison used a strip down the middle, and she also used some very large scallops on either side of that strip, so I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be using a very different color scheme. I really like that plaid that Alison has on hers though. So I'm using an older collection, as I often do. It's a Company collection that is called Handmade. And you can see that I have two orange strips of flowered pattern paper on either side, and then a blue piece of paper that looks a little bit like a solid. There's a bit of a pattern there. And I'm attaching down those two strips of very large scallops. And for my layout, I use an EK Success punch to punch those out. And I put that one down crooked, so I just had to tear it up, and I'm putting it back down again. And I'm going to be doing some stitching on those scallops. I wasn't going to initially, but I was really inspired by the stitching that Alison had on her layouts. So at a certain point, I do go back in and I add some stitching. I'm using a border strip on either side of that blue strip that goes down the center. Those are self-adhesive strips that were part of the collection. And I did have to put some adhesive down, even though they're self-adhesive. The adhesive is really not strong on those. So I added a little bit of extra adhesive. And now I'm using some self-adhesive pearls, and I'm applying one pearl to the center of each of those sections on those border strips. And there's just something about the composition or the design of those that makes them just call out to have something, some kind of embellishment put in the middle. And I just love self-adhesive pearls. I love the touch that they add, and I love the way they add a different texture or different material to the background. And this is going to be the photo that I'm using for this layout. This is a photo of both of my daughters, who are on the left, and my two nieces, who are on the right. And this was a picture that was taken on the day of my older niece's graduation from college. And I love the water in the background, and I think that this picture of all four of them came good. So I thought this was a perfect picture to scrapbook for this layout. I mounted the photo, which is a 4x6-inch photo, on some white cardstock and then on some yellow cardstock. And now I'm using some adhesive foam to pop it up. You can see over to the left there, there's a cut file. Now Alison has a cut file under the photo in her layout, so I wanted to do the same. I actually already had this cut out and kind of in a stash with a bunch of cut files that I had cut out and for whatever reason hadn't used. So I backed this using the Handmade collection, and I did that off camera. It takes me forever to back cut files. It is not something that I'm super good at, and definitely not something that is my favorite thing, but I love the results, so it's worth the time that I put in. So after I pop up some of the cut file, I don't pop up all of it because some of it's going to be sitting on top of the photo that's already popped up. So then I put some ATG adhesive on there, and I started trying to put it on those little delicate pieces of foam on the leaves, but I ended up deciding that I wasn't going to do that, that I would probably rip the leaf. And now I'm putting some ATG adhesive on the back of the foam that is behind the photo and just fitting it back in there. And then I decided I didn't like the way the cut file was sitting on top of the photo. I wanted to overlap, but I didn't want it to be covering the picture up. So I liked the way that it looked once I repositioned it. And I also had this little flower that was cut out, so I layered that on top of the large center flower. And then I had some decorative flat back pearls that I put on two of the flowers. I was glad that I had those flat back pearls because I feel that they go with the pearls, they match with the pearls that are already on the border strips, but they're a little bit larger and they draw a little bit more attention to the center of the layout and to the area where the photo is. Earlier, I had placed a title on the layout that said Carpe Diem. It was a wooden title that I had used some inks on. I just didn't like it though. I felt like this page needed some yellow letters, so I found these yellow letters in my stash. I spelled out cousins, And now I took one of the die cuts from the die cut pack and I'm cutting this leaf into 3 different sections. The die cut had a light green border and I decided that I didn't want to have the light green border, I just wanted the dark green. So I fussy cut off the edge and I do the same to all 3 of the pieces. I decided that the branch that has the 3 flowers on it on the top of the cut file, I decided it was just covering up the picture a little bit too much and it wasn't really necessary where it was. So I trimmed it off and I'm going to put it toward the bottom of the cut file. And I think it looks better there. I wanted the title to be 4 Cousins, and you could see off to the left there's that die cut that has the number 4 on it. I had put some adhesive foam on the back, and when I tried to peel it off, it ended up ripping the whole thing. I ripped it almost in half. So I was able to glue it back together again, but it didn't look quite right. So I thought that if I put this epoxy circle on top of it, it would help to, excuse my head there, it would help to not only hide the tear, but it would also help to make this embellishment look a little bit more substantial. And I think that that worked out. I don't think you can see the tear too easily. And there's actually 5 cousins. There's one more cousin, but he wasn't there that day. So I kind of feel bad calling it 4 cousins, but these are the 4 cousins that were in this picture. And now I'm using my gel glue and attaching down those leaf die cuts by putting a little bit of gel glue at the very base of each of those branches. And now I wanted to put this little banner at the top, or one of these little banners at the top. There was a turquoise one, a red one, and a yellow one, and I couldn't decide. None of them was quite perfect. The turquoise one was too similar to the background color. I thought the red one was too intense. There wasn't any other red on the page that was quite the same shade of red, and I just felt it drew the eye too much to that one spot. And then there was the yellow banner, and since I have the same color yellow in other areas, I decided to go with the yellow one. I wanted to add one more element to the background, so I found a border strip that had these little bees on them, and the bees are the same and they are the same colors, but the colors are in different spots on each one of them. So I thought these would be perfect for the background, so I glued those down. Now I'm using some little mini thickers to put the date down. I just love these little mini thickers. I think they are the perfect size for so many things on scrapbook layouts. And I can't believe that this was so many years ago, 2015. Well, this completes the layout, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I hope if you like this video, you'll give it a thumbs up. And I hope that you will check out Alison's channel. I'll put the link to Alison's channel in the description box, and there you can also find the links to all the other scrapbookers who are following along with Alison's 250 subscriber celebration hop. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.